We're going to talk about all of the different diminished scales today. We're going to talk about dominant diminished as well, and we will talk about sixth diminished, and we will talk about halves diminished relationship in all of these and where it might be different in other scales and modes. So let's get started with C diminished. So we're going to have whole step, half step, whole step, half step, whole step, half step, whole step, half step for the fully diminished. So one of the things that we can think about doing, let's just play it on the guitar real quick. We got excuse me. And we're also going to want to play it in other spots. So right. Played a wrong note in there, but you want to play it there. You're going to want to play it here for C. You're going to want to do the same thing for the other keys in that key of diminished. It's an 8-note octatonic scale. So you're also going to have A diminished. You're going to have F sharp or G flat diminished. You're also going to have D sharp or E flat diminished. Anyway, so you're going to want to go through those, you know. So let's do E flat. And we're going to want to do that here too. And let's do G flat or F sharp. And then you're going to want to do that right here. You can also do this stuff above the 12th fret. We're just going to kind of hang down here in case you got some people with no cutaways watching. So let's do A next, since we did E flat and C and F sharp, G flat. Let's do A. We're going to want to do it here. Cool. Let's see if we can do it open. Yes, we can. Cool, right? I don't really use open strings a whole lot when I'm playing diminished lines. I usually trying to fret them, you know. Usually we're playing up here, but it's good to learn it everywhere. And what we're doing is the different sets of strings. So we want to target here on these strings, but we also want to target here. You know, we want to do those two. Then now let's move on to C sharp or D flat. So we've got, let's call it D flat, B flat, G, and E. That's cool. We could, I guess, start with C sharp, since that's what we just moved up from C, right? Now we're gonna go to C sharp. All right. So that's a line in 7. You can play whatever notes you want in the 7, in the scale. You can play whatever notes you want anytime. Anyway, so we just did C sharp. Let's do, we're calling it D flat, so let's do B flat. Oh, I played it in the wrong spot. Let's do E. Then we got A flat, and you had a 5 chord that was D flat because the root was A flat. You wouldn't call this like D sharp, or excuse me, you would call it E flat, not D flat, E flat. So your next chord would be E diminished into F, and so let's do G. So if we're in D diminished, you're going to have lots of chord options. So some of the things I like to do when you have a D is, instead of playing a diminished chord, play a triad on the top that's in D diminished. Then you're going to do the same thing with F, major or minor triad with the E major minor triads over F, and go back to D and do the same thing with C sharp, major minor. And then we're going to go up to A flat and do the same thing with G major and minor. Awesome chords. And then B flat major and minor over B. Right? We're going to do that here. There we go. like to use those chords instead of the regular thing. Like I like raising. So if this is a diminished chord, or the same one here, different inversion, but different set of strings too, but same chord, you can raise whole steps. We're going to go through these. So here's E major, E minor, there's F. You can do the same thing here. Here's E major, E minor, right? And then you just put F over it. That's a different set of strings than this one, where you could do this with any of these clusters, like you could do a counterpoint. That's really cool, right? Much cooler than just. So we were working on D, so let's make sure we were working on the right key. Alright, so you got, try the counterpoint here. Right, D flat over D, E over F. So we're going to try that there. It's going to be a G triad now, then minor, and then E major over G sharp, and then E minor over G sharp. Now let's do B over B flat, or B flat over B, excuse me. I've got a little bit of dyslexia. Spicy. Both sets of strings, you know. G over F sharp. F sharp over G, Jesus. I have problems. Whatever. I played the chord right. There you go. Nice. Nice sound. I like the darker ones better. I like all the minor ones. I don't really like it moving down in the thirds like that. I think that kind of sounds like bad voice leading or something, but I like the small movements, like the whole steps, you know. So we talked about half steps for a second. Let's talk about whole steps. If we're in D diminished or F diminished, we want to play a whole step melody all the way down, like all of the whole steps. We'll play the whole scale, but we're going to do it in whole step groups. So then we end in E flat minor. So we're going to go F diminished, but we're going to bar our pinky. We're going to unbar and bar our index fingers so that we get, that's how I can play the chord. That's what I do. I bar my pinky and then I unbar it, and then my index finger is barring behind it. So bar it here, these two strings with the pinky, and then bar it here. And then move it down, do the same thing at D. Now move it up a whole step, and don't play the barred version, but just the 4-note version, and then bar your index and lift up the pinky. That's a whole step up, so that's at E because that's still in the chord, right? This is still the same scale. those notes are great. I mean, that's a sick diminished chord, right? I like it. Neat inversions of each other. It'd be unrealistic to try to play it, but it's neat to try to listen to it. Cool. What we're trying to do is continue to come down. So we went bar, 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 regular 4-note chord, lift a finger and bar, then 3-note chords here with these 2 holes, and then end with dominant diminished. So let's stay on D, but let's say that it's D, like the Hendrix chord D or whatever, with an added sharp 13 or something. It's a 5 chord to G. Let's pick a different key though. Let's do F, since it's the same diminished key. We're gonna make it dominant sharp 9, add flat 13, and it's gonna be the 5 to B flat, right? So now we're gonna talk about the same key, but now we're gonna treat it whole step, half step, right? Oh, that's all the stuff that you can do on 5. The same thing here and here. Same skill you were shedding earlier, but now you got to think about it from half step, whole step perspective. So, you know. You know, that's the phrasing that you've got. That's in 5. And then again. You know, really learn it. And then if wrong note slips in, whatever, you work around it. It happens. Your hand slips and you play the wrong thing and try to make music out of it anyway or whatever. You know, when we're trying to be aggressive on like Sunday mornings playing like some gospel stuff, people are going for licks, you know? So you want to like on the 1 chord, you're going to have tonic diminished. 5 chord, you're going to have dominant diminished. Sometimes it's going to be just a really pretty 5 chord into sharp 5 fully diminished into 6. Sometimes it's going to be a 5 dominant sharp 9 flat 13 to 1, right? See that, like right there, like I played a flat 9, and so I just kind of repeated it like that old jazz joke, like if you play a wrong note, repeat it. I found a scale that included it, that also included the root note and all the rest of the notes in the key. So if I'm doing a run and I'm going to try to accidentally play the wrong note, which is probably be better if I just tried to play like normal, because then I just hit wrong notes anyway. But I'm see, right? Like, you do a Lydian thing there. Right there, I accidentally played an A. So, double harmonic major, you know? And people love that. So when you're using the diminished, we're using it on passing chords, right? And tonic chords, we're using it on 5 chords as a mode of it, where we're doing back into the root, right? And then if it's tonic diminished, you just move into diminished. Back into 1. It's just tonic, right? Awesome. What's really like a mind warp is tonic diminished also being a passing chord back into the root in an inversion of itself. So right there. So this is a minor third up, right? Or an added major 7, and then we're back into the root, and that's also the same chord that was tonic diminished, which is the key that we're in. So anyway, that's fun to think about. Now, what we're going to talk about is for a second. And then the minor. Every time there's an E, make an E flat in C. Every time there's an E, make an E flat. Every time there's an E, make an E flat. Every time there's an E, make an E flat. Then every time there's an E, make an E flat. You can also skip the chromatic things if they're too classical, right? There's that kind of classical sounding thing, and then that classical sounding thing, so you can kind of skip over the middle one. Skip them. Skip the middle one. Skip the extra one. Skip the middle. Those are the minor ones. I really love how that sounds. And that's just the same major scale that has the flat 6 in it before the 6. or the sharp 5 before the 6, whatever you want to call it. It's the same scale with minor, so. But it ends up being really cool sounding, right? Super vibey. So I've got this G down here, and I was playing the C to give you kind of a reference, but I'm playing it with a band and we happen to be playing it, like, let's say it was let's do another key, let's do E flat. I wouldn't necessarily always put sounds good on that one because it's finally high enough on the guitar, but you leave out that middle note, middle string, you know, you can leave that out. It kind of disambiguates where you are and let somebody else play the root. So if you're playing over E flat and you want to do it, play a B flat and then the exercise, right? Cool. God, I love that chord. All right, thanks, Chopin. Have a good day.